What's up, y'all, man? This is your boy, y'all's chosen one, and so are you. We're going to continue in the study. We're in the book of Jasher. We're in chapter 31. We're going to start on verse 35. Remember, in the book of Genesis, uh, uh, Laban had just pursued Jacob and his wives, Leah and Rebekah, and their 12 sons, and 11 sons and the daughter, who was Dinah. And they pursued after him. And Jacob wanted to know what was up. For some reason Rachel had took this idol out of Laban's house. So we're gonna see if the book of Jasher try to clarify some of this stuff up. So we're gonna start in the book of Jasher in chapter 31, verse 35. And in the course of time he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's has he acquired all this glory. Okay, so that's in Genesis 31, verse 1. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban and of his children, and behold, it was not toward him in those days as it had been before. Verse 2, Genesis 31, verse 2. And Yah appeared to Jacob at the expiration of the 6 years, and said unto him, Arise, go forth out of this land, and return to the land of thy birthplace, and I will be with thee. Verse 3. So there's no stopping him. If Yah's going to be with you, there's no stopping him. And Jacob rose up at that time, and he mounted his children and wives and all belonging to him upon camels. And he went forth to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. That's in verse 4 through 5. And Laban did not know that Jacob had gone before him, for Laban had been that day sheep shearing. And Rachel stole her father's image, and she took them, and she concealed them upon the camel which she set, and she went on. And we read that in Jasher. We read that in Jasher chapter. We read that in Genesis. Let's see. Gosh. All right, verse 19. 31 verse 19. Yeah, so she stole her father's images. Hopefully Jasher clarifies why she stole this image. And she took them and she concealed them upon the camel upon which she sat, and she went on. And this is the manner of the images. See? Now there's something to it. Here we go. And taking a man who was the firstborn. All right, let's do this again. And this is the manner of the images. And taking a man who is the firstborn and slaying him, and taking the hair off of his head. So you scalp him. Taking a man who was the firstborn and slaying him, and taking the hair off his head, and taking salt and salting it. Oh, this is freaking voodoo. This is freaking voodoo. And taking salt and salting the head and anointing it in oil. Then taking a small tablet of copper, or a tablet of gold, and writing the name upon it, and placing the tablet under his tongue, and taking the head with the tablet under the tongue and putting it in the house, and lighting up lights. Oh, that's voodoo. Lighting up lights before it and bowing. That is straight up voodoo. It's a freaking voodoo doll. What the heck is Rachel taking a voodoo doll for? And at that time when they bow down to it, it speaketh to them in all matters that they ask of it, through the power of the name which is written in it. Oof. What the hell is Rachel doing? What is she doing? And some make them in the figures of men, of gold and silver, and go to them in times known to them, and the figures receive the influence. Look at this. Receive the influence of the stars, Malix. Anytime you reference stars is Malix, and tell them future things And in this manner were the images which Rachel stole from her father. And Rachel stole these images which were her father's. And okay, now we get it. Now we get a reason why Rachel stole it. In order that Laban might not know through them where Jacob had gone. Okay, Rachel. All right, sweetie, I got you. Laban. Now we can see what Laban was not a man of God, man. Obviously, he was a man of the fallen angels. He was doing the fallen angel religion. He was bound down to this thing, man. To the when it says fallen stuff, those are the fallen Malachim, the evil ones upon the earth. And she bowed down, and he bowed down to these things. And if he asked these things, it'll ask him, because there was a sacrifice. He was cutting off a man's head, chopping off a man's head, and put hair on this doll. He scalped this person, put it on this doll, anointed it with oil, put this, I don't know what in the world, I guess it's a mouthpiece, and put lights around. That's some voodoo stuff. And when you practice voodoo, that is witchcraft, man. And that's exactly what Laban was into, man. Laban was into witchcraft. Now we see why the uncle pursued him. He had that spirit on him, man. And the Most High told him, if you pursue Jacob, you better not say anything good or bad to him. Well, I will light your ass up. So now we see. And Laban, all right, so, okay, Rachel, I got you, sweetie. And Laban came home, and he asked concerning Jacob and his household, and he was not to be found. And Laban sought his images to know where Jacob had gone, and could not find them. I got you, Rachel. And he went to some other images. He had images everywhere. Man, this dude was practicing all kinds of witchcraft. And just to think for 20 years, Jacob had to put up with this guy. And the Most High still blessed him, even in a house of wickedness like that. And he inquired of them, and they told him that Jacob had fled from him to his fathers to the land of Canaan. All right, so Rachel, she couldn't take all of them, so she took one of them, and it probably took the main one that he prayed to all the time. So this guy had other images in there. He had all kinds of voodoo worship up in there. And Laban then rose up, and he took his brothers and all his servants, and he went forth and pursued Jacob, and he overtook him in Mount Gilead. And Laban said unto Jacob, what is this that thou hast done to me, and deceived me, and led my daughters and their children as captives taken by the sword? That's in Genesis 31, verse 27. And thou didst not suffer me to kiss them, and send them away with joy. And thou didst steal my gods, and didst go away. Like, what in the world does he need with your gods, man? That's Genesis 31, verse 29 through 30. And Jacob answered Laban, saying, because I was afraid lest thou wouldst take thy daughters by force from me, and now with whomever thou findest thy gods, he shall die. That's verse 31. And Laban searched for the images, and he examined in all Jacob's tents and furniture, but could not find them. That's in verse 33 through 34, in Genesis 31, 33 through 34. And Laban said unto Jacob, we will make a covenant together, and it shall be a testimony between me and thee, if thou shalt afflict my daughters, or shalt take other wives beside my daughters, even the Most High shall be a witness between me and thee in this manner. How can you say that, man? How can you say something about God and you worshiping voodoo, man? Don't even blaspheme my God like that, dude. Get the heck out of here. All right, that's verse 44 in Genesis, by the way. And they took stones and made a heap. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and thee. Therefore he called the name thereof Gilead. That's in verse 46 through 48. And Jacob and Laban offered sacrifice upon the mount, and they ate there by the heap, and they tarried in the mount all night. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and he wept with his daughters, and he kissed them, and he returned unto his place. All right, that's verse 55. You know, even though he's practicing all this witchcraft and stuff, you know, he still loved his daughters. But man, this guy's a Fruit Loop. And he hastened and sent off his son Beor, who was 17 years old, with Abikaroth, the son of Uz, the son of Nahor, and with them were 10 men. All right. And they hastened and went and passed on the road before Jacob. You see this? Do you see this? And he hastened and set off his son Beor, who was 17 years old, with Abikaroth, the son of Uz, the son of Nahor, and with them were 10 men. And they hastened and went and passed on the road before Jacob. And they came by another road to the land of Seir. All right, so here we go. I already see a plot starting to develop. See, this guy, Laban, man, is full of crap, man. He is the devil. He's full of crap. He gonna send his son Beor to Nahor. I mean, to really to Esau, because they went to Seir, and they knew that Esau didn't like Jacob. So you can already see the mess starting to come about here. I mean, you can already see what's happening, man. He's going to try to form an allegiance with Esau. And they came unto Esau and said unto him, Thus saith thy brother and relative, thy mother's brothers, Laban, the son of Bethuel, saying, Hast thou heard what Jacob thy brother has done unto me, who first came to me naked and bare? And I went to meet him, and brought him to my house with honor, and I made him great, and I gave him my 2 daughters for wives, and also 2 of my... You didn't make Jacob great. The Most High made Jacob. He served your tail for 20 years, dude. He came to you naked and bare because Esau is the one that took everything. You act like he just took all your stuff. He earned that. 14 years he served your tail. 6 more years for the damn cattle. And the Most High blessed him on my account. And he increased abundantly and had sons, daughters, and maidservants. What a freaking crock. He also had an immense stock of flocks and herds, camels and asses, also silver and gold in abundance. And when he saw that his wealth increased, he left me whilst I went to shear my sheep, and he rose up and fled in secrecy. Yeah, he fled in secrecy because he knew that your ass was wicked. And he lifted his wives and children upon camels, and he led away all his cattle and property, which he acquired in my land. And he lifted up his countenance to go to his father Isaac to the land of Canaan. Yes, okay, you finally saying some truth. Yes, he went to Canaan. That's right, he went to go see his father, get away from your ass. And he did not suffer me to kiss my daughters and their children. And he led my daughters as captives taken by the sword. And he also stole my gods, and he fled. All right, so got a half truth there. Rachel did take that god, but he took it for a reason. But he did not kidnap his wives. His wives went with him because they his wives. His children too. You might want to stay with your wicked ass, man. And now I have left him in the mountain of the brook of Jabbok, him and all belonging to him. He lacketh nothing. If it be thy wish to go to him, go then, and there will thou find him, and thou canst do unto him as thy soul desireth. And Laban's messengers came and told Esau all these things. You see that? See that? Just starting mess, man. Just starting freaking mess. And Esau heard all the words of Laban's messengers, and his anger was greatly kindled against him. He still had this anger in his heart. And as we go through the Bible, we're going to see why these brothers on the corners is always preaching about Esau as the devil. Esau is the devil. We're going to see why they do that. I want to say, that's why I study, man. I see my brothers on the street preaching that Esau is the devil and everything, but I want to see why they preaching this. You know what I'm saying? I want to know why they preaching it like this. So I'm going to go from Genesis to Revelation, and I'm going to see why they keep saying Esau is the devil. You know what I'm saying? You got to study for yourself. And I'm pretty sure those brothers at GMS, ISUPK, all the other Israelite sects will, they have their reason for saying that, but I want to know for myself. And as we can see right now, Esau has this hatred for Jacob right now. And he remembered his hatred, see? And his anger burned within him. He remembered that hatred that he has toward his brother. Remember, they're brothers, man. Supposed to be brothers. And Esau hastened and took his children and servants and the souls of his household, being 60 men. And he went and assembled all the children of Seir, the Horite, giants. In that land he had giants and the Horites, and their people, being 340 men, and took all this number of 400 men with drawn swords, and he went unto Jacob to smite him. And Esau divided this number into several parts. So remember, Esau was a great man in the field. He knew he had tactics, he had tactical training, he had military training, he loved to hunt, and this was his little military thing. He took the 60 men of his children's servants and his souls of the household as one head, and gave them in care of Eliphaz, his eldest son. Remember, Eliphaz is the one who spoiled Jacob and took all his stuff before he went to Laban. And the remaining heads he gave to the care of the 6 sons of Seir, the Horite, and he placed every man over his generations and children. All right, so we got these Horites and we got these Edomites alliance together, and they're going to go pursue Jacob. And the remaining heads he gave to the care of his 6 sons of Seir, the Horite, and he plays okay. And the whole of this camp went as it was, and Esau went amongst them toward Jacob, and he conducted them with speed. And Laban's messengers departed from Esau and went to the land of Canaan. And they came to the house of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. All right. So they went out with speed. He so wants to get back at Jacob, man. So far when I'm reading about Esau, yeah, he has a hatred toward Jacob. You know what I'm saying? Has this hatred toward him. And Laban's messenger departed from Esau and went to the land of Canaan. And they came to the house of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob Esau. And they told her, saying, Behold, thy son Esau has gone against his brother Jacob with 400 men. For he heard that he was coming, and he is gone to make war with him, and to smite him, and to take all that he has. All right, this is in the, I don't know why they would do that, to tell Rebekah this, to grieve her heart even more. But I guess they're just telling, I don't know, out of spite. I don't know why they're doing it, but they're doing it. And Rebekah hastened and sent 72 men from the service of Isaac to meet Jacob on the road. For she said, peradventure Esau make war in the road when he meets him. See? And we're going to stop right there. So you see this Laban cat, man, is full of crap. Full of crap, man. Just totally full of crap. You know what I'm saying? And we see here that Esau still, after all these years, 20 years he had been with Laban. 20 years he had been, Jacob had been with Laban, and Esau still had this fire in him. For it's his own goddamn fault. He sold his birthright to him for some goddamn hot red pottage. And he's still pursuing after Jake. So what we can see now, we see there is a hatred boiled in Esau right now. So far I can see that. Laban is no good. He's a piece of crap. And Esau sided with Horites, who I think were like partial giants to me, if I'm reading correct. Sided with them, and obviously they're not practicing with the Most High. They're practicing this sorcery. Laban is definitely into witchcraft, and Rachel doing, just trying to protect her husband. That's the reason why she took. So in the Bible, Doesn't tell you why Rachel took them, but in the book of Jasher it explains why she took those idols, and hopefully she got rid of, burned it or something like that. All right, man. This is your boy, y'all's chosen one. Love you very much. I hope you got a lot out of that lesson, and we'll continue on with the befriending Genesis series and the book of Jasher to go along with it. Shalom.